Your favorite scene in Pardes?
My favorite scene in Pardes. See, normally what ends up being your favorite is something that you get a lot of a pat on the back for. And from the time Shah Rukh was dubbing and he saw that scene to the first time I actually shot it, and Mr. Ghai said, "Oh, that's a really well done scene," was the phone sequence where I'm speaking to my father and I don't want to let him know that I'm depressed, I'm going through a hard time, and I try to keep a brave front, and I break down and put the phone down, and I'm concealing my feelings. I think that ends up being my favorite scene because that's the first time I actually got appreciation for what I did, and everybody ends up talking about it, so I end up remembering it, and I end up being proud about it, and so that ends up being my favorite scene. Maybe I had fun doing something else, but that's the one I remember now because I guess ultimately it's what stays in people's mind also matters to me, you know.
The most retakes you gave for any particular shot you have?
The most retakes, honestly, you'll have to ask the assistants. I don't know. Um, I have no clue. Uh, I used to have trouble, I think, not so much with my lines and my dialogues, but more with the songs. So if I at all took more than one take, it might have been for running down the staircase in a particular song and not getting it right on the beat, you know, because it was a huge running down. And in I Love My India, I had to run down the staircase or run up the staircase and, you know, start singing the line. And I used to end up being late, or somebody used to goof up, or there used to be a crane shot that used to go up and down. I think it was in the song, but never in the dialogues.
Were you happy with the name Mahima, or were there any other names considered as well?
Oh, I actually didn't think too much about what I'm going to call myself. I must say that we had a lot of names, and we were in Agra, and we actually asked the people who had come to ask my autograph because I wanted to change my name. And I was like, I'm still thinking about what name to keep, and these are the names that I have. Which one do you like? And somebody from the crowd said, "Oh, we like Mahima." So I just signed Mahima without thinking. And the next day in the papers, it said that Subhash Ghai's discovery, Mahima, is in town, and my name stuck. But I didn't give it that much thought, really. I just had a couple of names and I asked the people, I said, I really don't have a name right now because I'm thinking of a name change. So which name do you like and which one should I sign? And I did it just without thinking. And that ended up being my name. And it was too late for me to come back and say, no, actually, my also not my name. And I'm thinking of another name. And, that would have made me sound really funny. So I just stuck with that. I think all the songs in Pardes were songs which had a flavor in itself, and I think it moved very well from Ganga Chali Tu Kahan, which was very rustic, very innocent, sung with a lot of innocence, to the next song, which was I Love My India, and it had that smell of the mitti and about the country, to the next one, which moves into Zara Tasveer Se Tu, which had its own romance and everything, to Ye Dil Divana, which you knew that, okay, now it's America, so it had that sound of America. So I think it had a great variety, and I like all of them. It's very difficult for me to pick one, especially for my first movie. I mean, you know.
If you were to do Pardes now, would you enact?
I'm sure I wouldn't act it differently, and I'm sure that if I did it now, it wouldn't have that magic, because somewhere along the line, you you change, and something which I did unknowingly is something that really appeals on screen sometimes, and sometimes when you do something very, very consciously, it is still not so appealing. So I guess the rawness and all of that, sometimes the magic just works. I'm sure if I was to do it today, it wouldn't have that. I mean, it might be a lot better, my performance, but it wouldn't have that wonderment or innocence. And all actors tend to lose their innocence over a period of time. All human beings tend to lose it also. And it's been a good 5 years, so I'm sure my eyes have smartened up a bit, and the camera catches the eyes. So,
A couple of questions on Baghban.
okay.
How did Baghban really happen?
Uh, I think I was out of the country when Mr. Ravi Chopra called me and he said that I want to speak to you and it's very, very urgent. And it's so when as soon as I landed, I spoke to him and he says, I need to meet up with you right now, and it's about Baghban. So I said, but aren't you shooting for Baghban? He says, yes, but I need you and Salman to come in and do like a guest appearance in the film, and we need to start shooting for it right now. So that's how it really happened. It happened in a day's time. And we went and we shot for it. And the film was released within a month's time, and it did extremely well, and everybody got to see it also. So it was something that happened in one day, really.
So how open were you to, like a guest appearance, knowing that it's just a very small?
I didn't think about it twice, actually. I looked at it as an opportunity. I was like, okay, I get to do a song, I get to do a couple of scenes with Mr. Bachchan and Hema ji, and it sounds like a film which is essentially theirs, and I wonder what kind of a film this is, and I heard the story, and I thought it was so cute. He narrated the whole story to me, Mr. Chopra, from the beginning of the film to the end, and he's saying this is how it opens. And when I saw the film, I was like, oh my God, he told me scene by scene that she gets up, gets the paper, makes the tea, like he gave me details. He didn't have to do that. I was just sort of coming in. It wasn't even my film. I was just coming in to do my bit, and I could have been completely detached, but he made sure he told me every opening sequence, to the dog wagging the tail, to when they say bye, to every little detail he gave me, and I thought it was so sweet. So I guess sometimes you just don't have a reason for doing something or not doing something, except some force somewhere that works, and you just go ahead and do it. No logic, really.
Any particular incident when shooting? How was the whole experience of Baghban?
It was nice. It was short and sweet. I thought it was very nice. I'm glad I did it, really.
With Salman?
Yeah, Salman's very, very good to work with. He's a lot of fun, and he never loses his spirit, and he's very, very charming, so he's a lot of fun. All the scenes he did also, he adds a lot to it, and he never loses his sense of humor, which is, I think, one of the nicest things in his character.